In this video, we're going to create a clickable bar chart. Basically, we click on this and you can see here automatically a new tab opens up with the link here. And if I click on this one here, we're going to chart.js3.com, it loads and there we are. So with this, you can create all kind of things and Amazon and etc, whatever you want to have. So if I click again here, you can see these all open up nicely. And this is very useful if you want to click and create a more user experience based on specific values in here. Imagine you have here the sales, you click on that and you will go to the sales chart or etc. So let's start to explore how to use this, because this is quite advanced with advanced data structures. In this video, we're going to answer one of the viewers' questions, which was how to create clickable bar chart with link in Chartjs. So basically, when you select a bar segment, you click on a link and you'll be redirected to that specific link. So this question came from one of my other videos, which was about callback function on specific ticks on the y-axis, so which you can watch here. And here, Chaitanya Priya asked the following. So a special thank you to Chaitanya Priya for asking the question. And this is what she says. Hey, I've been following your tutorials on Chartjs. They are great. Well, thank you for that. I wanted to know if there is an option to make clickable bar charts. For example, what I want to do is when a user clicks on a bar, it should redirect to a different page that has another chart. Can you please help me? Thank you. Yes, of course. So let's start to look at this, because basically this is, you'll be using two different structures here. We're going to advanced data structures and we're going to use a onClick function here with a handler. Alright, to do this, we have to go here first to chartjs3.com, getting started, and in here we're going to get the default code. So I'm going to copy this code, and if you would like to understand what is really on here, please check this video here that covers it. It explains the JavaScript around it. So paste this in here, and once we paste this in here, I want to copy this title. This is for myself, you don't have to do this. And then I'll save this, and once I save this, now our chart looks beautiful and it works. Alright, so we have this here, and we have to do two things. We have to work with the data structure. Now I'll show you that later on, because that will be crucial here to get the matching link with every of these specific items. And what we want to do first is to create a link that, or create a clickable event. So a function that when we click on it, it should show here in the console log that we clicked on something. This will be key. Alright, so to do this, we have to do some adjustments on our item here. So right now here, the initialization block here, or the render block, has this part here. The constant is the my chart equals new chart, and it contains all of this. This will mean that every time it renders this chart, it draws the chart including the config. In this case, I want to make sure that the chart understands that we click on here without drawing on this. So I cannot use this my chart here. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make a new constant. Let's call this the CTX, which is the context. And the CTX is basically this part here. So just copy this. So we get the document ID, or basically canvas ID with the ID name of my chart. We click on this here and they will understand it. And then what we want to do here is the CTX, copy this, we just put it in here. So basically we do a tiny adjustment on here. This is essential. I guess what we could do here is put this under, because this is the render block, and this here is pinpointing the chart. So so that the click understands the canvas tag. Alright, so that's what we're doing, because if we would put it all in here in one, which is a nice shorter code, but it will always draw. So it would mean that every time we click on it, it needs to draw everything. That's not what I want. I want to only pinpoint this specific item here. Alright, so this is the first part what you have to do. Without this, it will not work. I repeat, without this, you will have an error. So now we have this, let's draw the function here. And this function will be called, just for simplicity, click handler. And a handler is basically, if you would look at the meaning of it, it would mean someone who handles an item or does a specific task. Well, this click handler will do a very specific task here, which will be done with the parameter of click. So this is just a parameter, it's not click, but Chartjs will understand that this will be a click because we're going to use a function that understands this event here. So we say here the following. We say constant points, and this equals the my chart. And then we say here we're going to get a very specific item, which is also this you can find as well on Chartjs if you go here on the API. Although it's not really specified and not really clear. If you go in here, and we will find here the following term. It's called get elements at event for mode, and then here E, which is basically our click. This is the event, the parameter basically. Then the mode, the options, and the final use final positions. All right, sounds all very complicated. Don't be. Just copy this chunk of code here afterwards. We will just make it work. So we get this here. We have all of this. Then we say here, this E will be replaced with the click. And then what we have to do here for the mode. So the mode is basically in the options, the mode. If we go in here, configurations, here we have options here. Probably is that, where is that? I am not able to find it right now. Maybe it's in the items here. We can just find mode. Interaction modes. If I'm not mistaken, it should be here. Modes. Alright. So with this one here is a type of interaction. So, but this here of course means nothing yet, because it's just only referring to this part here of the interaction. It's a click interaction, but we need to say more specifically, this is a string, nearest. And then when we have another one here, it's basically the option. And this option we say intersect, meaning true, or basically this is true. What does this mean is basically this. So we are the nearest, and when we cross the point on click, and then here use final position is true, just set this on true, there we are. So basically the intersect on the mode, so the mode is basically the nearest, we click whatever the click would be triggered, because this is a value itself, it understands it because of this command here. When we are on the nearest location, it clicks on the nearest location, get the nearest, what we would say here, basically this item here, the nearest one that we are, with the intersect, which is true, which is when we cross. And as you see, how do you know if it's intersect? Basically, if the tooltip is here, it's a type of intersect. So the moment you cross it or you hit it, testing like an intersection where we have a crossroad, it would trigger this. So we are crossing the path, and it shows this here. All right, I hope that makes it a bit more sense. It's not really that clear, but it doesn't matter too much. This code is essential. All right. So once we have this here, true, we set this on true, and then next here, if this is the case, oh, well, that's the case, it grabs this, then we make an if statement, we grab the points dot length. And in here, we're going to put in the values, and what I want to do here is just to put in some extra enters to make sure that it's easier to spot. Alright, and then what I want to do here is the following. So this is the points length. And this means nothing yet, but basically when we hit on the point, it will understand how many arrays there are. So we want just only the first array, because there's only one length here. So we say here constant first point we want to grab equals points 0, index 0. All right. So to make this more clear, we need to have basically here some console logs. But to do this, what I will need to do here, I need to make sure that this function registers. Because right now, if I just save this, and I open up here, and I click on it, nothing happens. You don't see anything here. And if I would do here console log, let's say, we can just grab here the points, you'll see nothing happens. Why nothing happens is because we didn't trigger the function yet. So we click here. You might say, well, we triggered by clicking on it. That's correct. But where or how would this be triggered? Well, this is the reason why we did this here. We're going to say here ctx. So the moment we click what? We click on this canvas here. Then we say on click equals. So we have here the on click handler, or basically on click. Then we say here the click handler. Alright, so this click here is triggered on this as well. So basically, I guess that will be more appropriate. This here is the value will be this here. Alright, so now if I save this and refresh, we should have here the value. There we are. Alright, so you can see here, these are the values here. Now it understands where we click on. And this is the first point. So if we would just get the array, let's get the array of points. Save that here. I guess we get everything. But what we want to know is here, do we get everything? If I click anywhere? No, we will still get only one. Do I see the length here? Length is 1. So it will only get 1. And this is apparently the reason why you need here the first point of just 0. Because there's only 1. It understands there's only 1. Am I correct? You can see here, it understands where we click on. And of course, it sees only one value, only the one you click. So on click, then here, it will understand where the location is with the positioning and all of these items in the index. So this is quite advanced stuff, to be honest. All right. So you have this here. Now you understand this part here. You understand we have this 0.0, etc., etc. So we got the points here. You have this here. You can see here the elements, the index. Index is 6. All right. So what I want to do is the following. Let's try now here, just to make sure we have everything here. I guess we already have the most important part. But what we can do is the following. I'm going to say here the constant. And this constant will be the value, because this will be eventually where we want to grab the specific value, which will eventually be in here in the data sets. So we have this here value. We say here my chart.data.labels. Then we grab here the first point dot index. Alright. So once we get that, and then what we could do here is very straightforward. We could do here the console log and just value only. Save, refresh. Let's see, I want to just hide all of these console logs first. Refresh and click. You can see here, what are we getting? We're getting the Tuesday, etc., etc. We're getting all of these values here, but this is probably the item here, but I want to get also the value. So what we can do here, because this is the labels. So let's get another one here just for the fun. Data sets. Save that, refresh. Alright, so let me double check here. We have my chart data sets. Oh, of course, we have this data set first point. This one here is not 100% accurate, because what we need here is, of course, here would be 0. Now this can be first point dot data set index, and I'm going to show you afterwards why. And then here, data would be the first point here. If I save this here, refresh, we get the value out of it. Alright, so this is most important because this is probably the one we'll be needing. And I will show you later on why. However, once we have this, so how did I came up to this here, the first point in the dataset index? Well, we can check this here. If I go here on the console log first point, save that, refresh. We go to the first point, and then we see here the dataset index, which is 0, which is correct. So this basically here, first point dataset index is 0. So this is basically 0. All right. So that makes sense. Then the next one would be in the data. So let's see here. Can we find even more? Do we find the data? This is the data set. And then the data would be the first point index. That is correct. That is saying here. As you can see here, this is the index 6. Because when we click on this one here, which is the black, it should be here. This is number 9, the value, and that is 6. That is correct. So basically, if I would copy this, this should be just 6. Alright, so this makes sense here. So you can see here, you go here on first point and data sets first point index. Alright, so we've got this here. Alright, This is the most important one. What we could do here, and I don't recommend you to do this, but I will show you this one. We could say here, for example, Windows or window dot what is that, option, not open, sorry. And this would be, you could say here string and http //www.google.com, and then we say here comma, single quotation, and we say here underscore blank for opening up a new tab. Blank, not black, sorry. When I do this, it will click. When I click here, nothing happens, but when I click here, there you are, you open up Google. Of course, this is not what I want, and I'm not sure if you are looking for this, because you imagine this would show a different link compared to this. So how would you do that? Because that would be a big problem. For this, we're going to use a more advanced trick. That's later on, we'll be back on this. So we have this here so far, and now I'm going to show you what we call the data structures. Data structures is an object in the data sets here, more specifically in here. So what we're going to do here is advanced item here, and what we're going to do is the following. We're going to make sure that every data point that we have will have a matching value or matching link. So we're going to say here the following. Let's say here, we can do here nested, and we can give it nest, we can give it anything. Let's say here maybe products, I have no idea, products, or maybe product info, whatever, products. All right, then here in this products we can say the following. We're going to nest it. We say sales, this would be a number, so let's say number 1, comma, and then link. So in here we have the link, and this link will be the specific link that we want. Let's say http://www.google.com. And then what we want to do is we want to make sure that this eventually will be shown in here in the function with the right extraction. So this is an advanced feature, but very, very useful. And if you're confused with this, this is very similar to just the objects we have here, because basically we're working with objects. So if you would see here, this would be the structure. We have this here, and then we have basically this. So you could see it like this. So basically this would be the structure. Here we have the products. Let's see here, am I correct? Yes, 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 that is correct. We have this products like this. Something like this would be the structure. All right. So, but let's put it back like this, so that will look more better. And if you're very familiar with the bubble chart or the scatter chart, you have the X and you have comma and Y value. And this is basically what we're doing, but we're breaking it down now by giving our own unique value here. So we have the products, sales, we have the link. Then we say here comma, and let's put in here now a total of 6 more items. We have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7. All right, so we have 7 in the total, and we can here track the sales. All right, but here I want to change this, and I will say here this will be Chartjs 3, and this could be I have no idea what kind of website. Say Amazon, Flipkart, and we have all kind of things, Food Panda, and then we have here chartjs.org, and then we have here YouTube, something like that. Doesn't matter. I'm just making up now. So if I save this right now and refresh, we have a problem here. This problem is not really a real problem. It is because we changed the data structure here. And remember, with a bar chart, this is not a common structure. So this is a problem. But to do what we have to do here is we have to parse it. And if you want to understand what is parse basically would mean to make something readable. We will convert it in a readable form. So what we have to do here, we say parsing. This is in the options, make sure it's in the options, parsing, and then here all we have to do is to indicate here the specific value we want. All I want is basically this should be read only in the y-axis. I'm not going to pinpoint the x-axis. I like these labels here because they're matching on the daily sales. It's just only the y-axis should extract the sales number here. Alright, so we say here, parsing, and then we say y-axis key, and this y-axis key will grab the object. So where is the object? Well, we are in the data. It understands that already, but we have to go in products dot sales. All right, so we're going to grab that. We say here products dot sales. So if I save this now, refresh. All right, we still have a tiny error. So let me double check what's going on here. This is our nested value. And I guess here, I'm not sure, so let me double check this quickly. Alright, I already figured it out. I realized that this apparently is a must. So what we have here is only the y-axis. So I'm going back here, and we're going to change here something, and I was expecting this not to be needed. However, sadly enough, it is. So we're going to put in here the x-axis value as well. So it could be here, let's say, days. And this will be our x-axis value. And I will just copy this one here. And it could be anything what you want to do in here. So I'm going to copy this part, put it in here multiple times. I was expecting this was not necessary, but apparently it is. So it's a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Alright, so we have this. Make sure you remove the labels here, and if you save this now and refresh, we have our items here, but of course we're not done yet. Sorry, the reason why it doesn't work here is because we didn't pinpoint yet the x-axis key. So we're going to change the here x-axis key, and this will be the days that we have here. So I'm going to remove everything here, comma here, and then save this. And then once I did this, there you are. So now we have here our values here. It's working. And if you're not sure about this, you can say here, hello, best sales. There you are. Hello, best sales. There you are. So works nicely. So now what I want to do is I want to grab or extract the link here specifically so that this here starts to look nice. So let's open up our console log and see if we can click on it, if we see something here, and you might see already something. We see here the days, and then we have the products. So let's look here at products, and there we are, the link. All right, so this here should show us already what we need. So all we have to do here in this value here is just to extract this link. So what we need to do is we need to go to products and link. And why I'm saying products and link, because that is our data structure here. If your data structure would be something else, data, product, or maybe sales and profits, etc., etc., you have to match them here. Whatever you put in here, because that's the object, will be matched in here. So we say here, this value was this entire point here. So let's say here, let's extract that. So we go here, and then we say here, we are in here, and then we say products, and then link. So we say products dot link, and if I save this now, refresh, and click here, you can see here now we have the exact link that we want, and every link is different depending on what you select. Alright, so this is nice. Now is the final item. It's time now to put in the link here. So I'm going to show you two options here. You can say we can do location dot href, and this will equal what exactly? Well, this item here. Doing this I would not recommend, but if you do this, what will happen is if I click here, this, what will happen, oh, I need to refresh this. Did I save this? Alright, refresh. If I click here, we're loading right now. You can see it moves to another website, but of course I don't want to do this, but you might want to do this if this is on the same page. I want to open it in a new tab. At the moment we click on it, we should open up a new tab. So if I click on this, you see here we go to Google, but this is on the same tab. Don't want that. No, don't do that. Or at least if you want to make sure that you have a new tab, there is a window open. That's what we did before. And then we just grab this item here, and what will happen now Let's comment this out, save that, refresh. And now if I open up here, what will happen is a new tab open, but you can see they are here. And if I click on this, Chartjs 3 opens up, and there you are. So now we have a clickable link that works with advanced data structures here that is cross-match with the link here. So if you want to understand more about data structures, I would highly recommend another video that you will see right now here in the link here up, and I'll put a link in the comment section as well, and at the ending screen, so you know if you want to go deeper in that, explore that specific video more.